Oh my god, so I found a story that I had written in 7th grade in 2018, and I'm going to read it for you guys because I think it's just going to be really good. It's going to be a really good story. I remember writing it. I remember there's some controversy because there is alcohol in this. And I had to ask the teacher, I was like, hey, can I write a story with alcohol in it? And she's like, yeah, like that's not a problem, I guess. I'm like, okay, cool. And as far as I can remember, this shit was good. Like, it was good writing. Like, it was my best work. So here it is. It's called Betrayed by Joey Nelson. I can't believe you, Collins screamed out. Seems like those are going to be your last words. Collins was a 17-year-old who was on the verge of graduating. He was a popular kid, but not arrogant. He was so nice. He was friends with mostly everybody at the school. He was courteous to the staff and teachers. He was extremely intelligent and got the best grades in every subject. Everyone thought he was perfect, except for him. 3 years ago, Collins did the worst thing he could ever possibly do. He killed Jason Andrews. 3 years ago. Today, Collins and his friends were at the beach having a blast because it was the last day of spring break. Collins' friend, Brian, got all of them some alcohol. Collins, Brian, and their other friends, Danny and Ben, had a few beers. Collins drank more than the others. Around 11 o'clock, they winded down and fell asleep in the two tents they had built. They were all passed out, wasted. The only thing that Collins' friends did not know was that Collins got a text from Jason, a spoiled rich kid who does not care about anyone else but himself. What do you want, Jason? Collins asked in a non-sober way. Shut up, you poor cow, Jason said with a stuck-up tone. Jason and Collins were never friends. They always had hated each other. Then Jason and Collins started getting into it. They both knew how to push each other's buttons. Then Jason said something he would regret for the rest of his life, which happened to end that very same night. No wonder your father left you, Jason exclaimed. Collins could not believe what he had just heard. He grew red from the anger that was inside him, now ready to come out. Collins turned around. He started to look. He then found a big rock that fit in his hand. He turned around swiftly and threw the rock as hard as he could straight to Jason's face. Jason, laying on the ground with blood oozing from his face, was still alive. This made Collins feel a little bit better, but he was not happy. He walked around Jason, picked up the rock that had a little bit of Jason's blood on it, and kneeled down. He did not say anything. He just started smashing. You could hear the bones break inside Jason's body, the blood coming out of him like a tsunami. When Collins was done bashing into Jason, he got up, knowing what he did. Jason Andrews was officially dead. Collins had an expression of concern mixed with happiness on his face. He was immediately shocked. It felt like a bolt of lightning shocked him right in the heart. He did what he thought was right, considering he was wasted, and took the body. Jason's body was as cold as the lake in the winter. Collins took the body and dumped it into Sweetwater River. This was the day that Collins would remember forever. Present time. Collins and his friends were all going to meet up at Sweetwater River. Today was also the day of Jason's death. The cops had found Jason's body in the river 6 months after he was dead. They concluded it murder, since it was. Collins only slightly remembered that night. All he remembered was the blood rolling down onto his hands and knees. Collins never brought up that night ever again. While Collins, Danny, Ben, and Brian were all sitting on the dock, they made a promise. We, we will all still keep in touch after graduation, right? Danny was saying before he was interrupted by Collins' phone buzzing. Sorry, Danny, but I have to go meet Penelope on the bridge, Collins said questionably. Penelope was Jason's twin sister. She was nothing like her brother. Penelope was caring, kind, and lovely. So Collins was confused to why she wanted to meet him. Whatever it was, he thought it was important. Collins did a fast jog until he saw Penelope. She was looking as beautiful as ever, so when Collins got to her, she turned around at a medium creepy pace. She had a gun in her right hand. Collins was in complete shock. He backed up as fast and as far away as he could. He ended up hitting the rail of the bridge as he was praying that there was some way to escape without him dying. He was gripping onto the rails for his dear life. He could not believe what he was seeing. Penelope was smiling with evil. You're so stupid, just like my brother, she exclaimed. Meanwhile, Ben asked out, I wonder what is taking Collins so long. I'll go check on him, Brian stated. Cool, Danny said. Okay, that sounds good, Ben said in an awkward way. back to Penelope and Collins on the bridge. Why me? Why did you make me think that I killed Jason when you actually did? Collins asked, demanding answers. Penelope said in an evil way, because I knew that you were planning on getting blackout drunk that night. So I figured that you would think you killed my brother because you're so gullible. In that moment, he saw Brian and told him to run, but Brian just kept walking to Penelope. Hey, how's everybody today? Brian said sarcastically. Collins was so confused. Why was Brian not running? Why was Brian not scared? Collins needed to run, so he tried to. He took a deep breath, blinked for a long while, then tried to run. Tried to run, to be exact. Brian backed up and pushed back Collins to the floor. Collins got back up and just stayed by the railing. Then he heard Brian say to Penelope, I thought we were going to tell him that we killed your brother together. 3 years ago. Flashback again, 3 years ago. While Collins thought he was the only one responsible for Jason Andrews' murder, he was wrong. It was actually Penelope and Brian. Penelope had planned to kill Jason that night anyway, so she started to follow Jason to the beach. When Jason got out of the car, Penelope did too, right after him. Then she saw the perfect opening. That drunk guy won't know anything. I'll just put the rock in his hand and tell him that to throw it. Then I'll do the rest. And she did. As Penelope was breaking her own brother's skull, Brian went to look for Collins. He then heard a loud grunt. He ran to where it was and saw Penelope on the floor with blood all over her body. Brian was shocked. Penelope heard him. She looked at Brian and said, Turn around or I'll throw this rock at you. No, I want to help you, Brian said. He then did. They made Collins think he did all this by just simply telling him that he did it, and he believed them because he was so drunk. Present time. As Brian and Penelope were telling Collins how they played him, he was texting Ben and Danny. He sent SOS, which made them run to the bridge as fast as they could. Collins was trying to think of anything to stall them. I can't believe you, Collins screamed out. Seems like those are going to be your last words, Penelope said as she put her fingers on the trigger. Just as she was about to shoot the gun, Ben and Danny came. Danny tackled Penelope to the ground. The force of hitting the ground caused the gun to fly from her hand. The gun then slid to Brian. He picked it up and was about to shoot. Ben ran and grabbed the gun while Brian was also. They were fighting for it. Then boom. And again boom. The gun fired twice. They were both still standing. The sound made everybody stop what they were doing and turn around and look. They both fell to the floor, blood all over their hands. While Collins and Brian stayed to help them, Penelope bolted. They did not go to get her. They just wanted their friends to be safe. 1 month later. Graduation day. Today is the day that Collins has been dreaming of since 5th grade. He has always wanted to walk across the stage, shake hands with the principal, and get handed his diploma. He was so happy, but a part of him felt empty because he saw somebody die right in front of him. Well, he saw 2 people die right in front of him, Jason and Brian. Ben, however, was doing so great. Since the ceremony was in 20 minutes, Collins started to get ready. He finally felt like he had completed his goal. Then, as they called out his name, he was so ecstatic. Then Danny was called up to get his diploma. He was happy that it was finally done with school. After that, they had a small moment of silence for Brian. Finally, at the end of the ceremony, Ben walked up, still in pain from the surgery, and got his diploma. The entire class stood up and threw their caps in the air. The 3 guys were so happy. Nothing could ever bring them down. Meanwhile... I will not have this, Penelope said in an angry but calm voice. Those 3 Neanderthals will have to pay, Penelope exclaimed. A mysterious man in a chair turned around and said, How did you suppose we do that? You were lucky enough to escape the first time. Now you want to go hurt them again? Penelope smiled and said, I don't want to hurt them. I want you to. The man in the chair leaned back and said with a spine-chilling smile, Looks like we've got each other a deal. What? Bitch! That shit was so good! I kind of hate the ending a little bit. It didn't turn out good. I might have to rewrite it and make some changes. And shit, there's one for a sequel. I left this shit on a cliffhanger. Penelope's out there, and some guy's gonna come and kill Collins, Ben, and Danny? Sequel. They're in college. I'll have to figure out and I'll get back to you. Oh my god, this is fun.